I let the snowball roll downhill for so long that now it can't be stopped. Yeah. Now I have to keep ahead of the snowball, or else the snowball's going to roll me over.
Yeah.
That snowball's going to follow me the rest of my life now.
Hello, everybody. My name is Matt. Welcome back to Full Belly Podcast. I want to say this is our 40-something episode. We're moving. We're grooving. We're here today. We've got some great guests. We've got Juan as our co-host, as we always do. Before we say anything else, I want you guys to take a moment to pause. If this is on Facebook, I want you to like us. If this is on Instagram, I want you to like us. If this is on YouTube, it's not called liking, it's called following. Is that right, Josh? It's called following. Because there's different terms for different platforms, and you got to know them. Really, you don't have to know. Just hit the button that makes you watch us. That's what we want. It's important. It's not because we're looking for, any sort of validation. The more people that follow us, the more messages we get out there. And then if you share this, the more people hear it and the more people we can hopefully heal. We talk about full bellies on here, how the shit used to be empty. And I'm talking not about just this right here. I'm talking about everything, how we used to be empty in a lot of different ways. Inside of our hearts, our minds, and really our bellies. I remember being homeless and not eating food for days on ends. And so there's a lot of people that have figured out how to fill themselves up in a lot of different ways and to help fill other people up in a lot of good ways. And that's what we talk about here on this podcast. We have a great guest. His name is Matt. And that's a fantastic name.
It is.
Decent. It's a really, really good name.
It's not that common at all, really, I heard.
Well, out of the names that are in here right now, Matt and Juan.
Juan's the best, for sure.
I would just really hate my life if my name was Juan. Man. I'm so happy that my name is Matt.
I might be one step away from doing something horrible.
One step away. You got a lot of cool play on words that you can do with your name.
Yeah, what are you going to do? I'm a doormat?
Oh, man. Doormat, floor mat.
I'm
Matt the cat.
It's spelled differently.
Matt.
Last name Zunk.
Spelled differently.
Zunk the punk. Lives in the junk. Smells like a skunk.
One day you'll get there. Ooh, we're spitting.
I had a lot of bullies growing up.
I had a bully too. He wasn't really a bully. He was my baseball coach, and he wasn't really bullying me. He was being funny and he was being nice, and he would rhyme my name with stuff, but he made me self-conscious. He said, what did he say? Oh no, it was Bell. He'd say, Matt Bell, what the hell? Why do you smell like hell? Because he would just try to rhyme, and I'd be like, damn, do I really smell? I was in 7th grade going through all kinds of freaking changes in my mind and shit. Forget his name, but
I was almost Luke.
Oh, his name was Juan.
Luke.
Terrible human being.
Yeah, it's probably because everybody used to call me Magic Wand, and dude, just tear me up. Hey, Wand.
You ever been called Juwan?
Yeah, I've been called Juwan, dude.
I'm about to start calling you that.
What you want to do?
Juwan. That's too good. That is too good.
I don't know what you want to do.
Oh my gosh, that's actually really, really good. Shout out to what's this place called? Scooters,
dog.
Scooters Coffee. Had free coffee today. Is that correct?
Boots scooting.
What is that?
One coffee per person. One coffee per person. No fancy stuff. Take it or leave it. Straight shooter.
Yeah.
Come scoot through, get a coffee. If you want a splash of cream or sugar, we'll do that for you. But if you want all this other frappy stuff with caramel and ice cream and all these things,
you got to pay for it.
Ice cream.
They
don't put ice cream in coffee. But you know what I mean. Some of that shit tastes like it. Rocky Road, Frappuccino, Macchiato, fucking hazelnut stuff.
Yeah, I think it's costing
whatever you're
$1
drinking right now.
Extra $1 per syllable.
Right. Yeah. Every dollar. Yeah. Yeah. But they were just getting the name out there. So shout out to them.
Yeah. Shout out.
This wasn't free, but it's all right. It's all right. We watched a clip about jury duty.
Yes.
Yeah.
After watching that clip, which we're going to show here.
So I got jury duty. I'm not going. That shit sounds stupid. So you're telling me there's a guy who did a crime and you need me to show up so you can convince me whether or not he did it? I didn't go to law school. Who gives a fuck what I think? Like, a jury of my peers are dumb as fuck. I'm just confused because, like, why isn't it a job? Like, why is jury duty a thing? Why don't you just hire jury people full time and have them clock it and make them go to fucking law school for it? Why can't you just get like an associate's degree in jury tutoring? Like, why do we have to grab randos off the street? NPCs. Why do I have to convince a Lifetime Fitness front desk employee, an Arby's shift lead, and a librarian that I'm not guilty for murder?
How do you guys feel about that?
Oh, dude, it was hilarious, first of all. But I they're not lying, dude. They said, why a jury of our peers, and you got Brenda, that's, the shift manager at Arby's, they said, and you might have Dale, who's, freaking whatever, operating at Fastenal, and they're the people that are judging these people, trying to convince them,
Literally.
Yeah. Why don't you hire somebody that has an associate's in law or something like that?
Have you ever had to go to jury duty?
No.
So I've never had to go either, but I know a lot of people that have. And dude, it sucks. It throws off your life, and you don't have, you have to go. And I think when you go, you get to fill out an application, and you can say, there's certain things that exclude you from having to be there. But then they offer you
$13.62,
literally a day, $13 for the whole day. They're like, we're really sorry to have inconvenienced you. Here's your $13. We provided you a lunch as well, which was a banana
and a bag of chips
and a free coffee we got from Scooters. And we appreciate your service.
I think it all depends on the case, because if it's a high profile case and you're sequestered,
you got to stay for months.
Yeah, if the hotel's nice, if it's next to a nice deli, I mean, you don't want to be on that jury with me, because I'm the guy that's like, you know what? I'm going to finish this series on Netflix, and
we're dragging this shit out.
I ordered the corned beef tomorrow, so yeah, I'm not ready to decide.
You're going to turn it into an opportunity.
Yep.
Not me, dude.
We're going to need another day, Judge. Sorry, we can't come to a conclusion.
Deli or not, I'm fucking guilty day one.
Yeah,
guilty, dude. I don't need to hurry or anything. I can look at him. He's guilty.
Yeah, he said sequestered.
It's a good word.
Man.
Sequestered.
What is it? What is sequestered?
Sounds like a horse.
That's when you can't. That's when you're in a jury of a high profile case, and you're removed from all outside media and newspapers, and you're
it's like secluded.
Yeah, you're taken back to a hotel, and you only talk to people in the jury pool.
Yeah.
And it depends on who's in the jury pool too. I mean, there could be some fun people, you're all hanging out in a hotel, and you're not gonna see anybody else.
On your phone, no, you can't do anything.
Man, I just throw my phone in the river right now. I'm so sick of my damn phone.
I couldn't even be sequestered at home.
Yeah, no, dude,
I'd go crazy.
I'm a stay-at-home caretaker for two elderly parents, man. It'd be like a little mini vacation for me, man.
Right.
Get some Toblerones from the mini bar.
Toblerones in a deli. Toblerones in a deli. I'm staying on jury duty forever.
Hey, I don't have Netflix, so hey,
sequester me. Sequester me.
I can finally watch Stranger Things.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Speaking of Stranger Things, there was a Delta flight recently, I believe, that had to turn around and go back to wherever it departed from.
Oh no!
Because did you hear about this?
Yes.
This guy shit his pants so bad on the flight. He shit all over the place, and the pilot declared it a biohazard. I mean, this guy didn't just poop his pants. This guy pooped all over the place, trying to make it to the bathroom. Shit on the carpet, on the seats, on people. It was everywhere.
How did he drop his pants?
You know what they're saying now? They're saying he was dope sick. They're saying he was actively withdrawing.
What?
Now that makes a lot of
shit
sense.
all over the place, bro. Can you imagine being on an airplane in the aisle seat and someone walks by you and sprays you, dude?
It's like a cat in heat.
That's like nothing but energy drinks and gummy bear poop.
What would you do? Use that tiny little napkin that they give you to fucking wipe up? Oh my God.
People are turning on their little fans.
Oh no.
Can you imagine the poor guy pooping his pants everywhere?
Oh God. I would just lock myself in the bathroom and stay there until we landed wherever that was. I'd let everybody deplane.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Excuse me, everybody. We're going to have to turn this boat around. We have a biohazard. Jimmy in the back shit on everybody. We're going to be landing in Tucson, Arizona in 2.5 hours. Please pull down your mask.
People are stacking up the luggage like a wall, like in World War Z. Keep the zombies in the back of the plane.
And then you got the first class sequestered.
Yeah,
in the front.
Yeah, I wonder if it was first class. That'd be even more ironic.
Yeah,
first class gets shits on.
I hope so.
Amazing stuff, Matt.
Yes, sir.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, dude. Whoa.
Yeah, we are matched up. With the color
Whoa.
scheme here, hasn't it? Juan didn't get the memo. It's a like what is this?
Fucking brain just exploded.
Is this teal?
I just looked at. We're fucking mats,
Yeah.
dude. You're mats. We're fucking the same.
Matching mats.
We're literally the same, dude.
Something said grab the green shirt today, man. I don't know.
Except this.
No tats. Yeah, I have zero
He
tattoos.
said no tats. No,
that was a great politically correct response. I wasn't talking about the tattoos, but that was good.
Oh, I'm not allowed to think that way.
He said, "Oh, yeah." He said, "I'm not allowed." You're funny.
So funny.
I see you all the time, dude. I always see you. You're just doing everything. You're always doing something.
Yeah.
You're always smiling. You're always talking to people. You're
Yeah.
always working out.
Yes, sir.
You're probably one of the first people here in this building.
6 a.m. every day.
You could probably tell me which employees get here on time and which don't, because
You know, if there's like some coffee involved, man, I could do that job. I got paper and pencil, and
little Toblerone and a deli. I'll tell you whatever you need to
this
know.
person was late, and they were bitching.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's a Toblerone. You can sequester me on the treadmill.
So tell me, man, how long do you have?
I have 85 days sobriety right now.
That's
Attaboy.
fantastic, dude. That's amazing.
Give us a clap there. Yeah.
80 fucking 5. Yeah, that's a miracle, man. How long have you been struggling with addiction?
I'm coming to find out that I've definitely had addictive personality my whole life, but you know, it didn't really get its grips on me until 7 years ago when my wife passed away. I pretty much did everything wrong after that. You know, I didn't have kids and made a lot of money. You know, grief, money, and then not wanting to deal with grief. It did what you expected it did, and it did it right away and for a long time.
So, God, dude, I can't even imagine. Were you struggling with addiction prior to her passing?
No, I was like a weekend warrior, you know, and I dabbled and
so, but when she passed away, that's when things progressed and actually became like problematic with substances.
Didn't take very long at all. Just hooking up with some old friends. I mean, before she came around, I mean, she was the one that straightened me out. You know, I was probably on the verge of going down that path, but you know, I met a good woman. And,
Yeah.
you know, her family was great, marriage was great, and you know, there wasn't a problem that we couldn't just talk out in half an hour. It was that kind of thing, and
So that tore you apart, obviously.
yeah, it was accidental. It was a phone call in the middle of the night. She fell in the water, and you know,
Damn, dude.
yeah, life support and zero brain activity, and
Oh, man.
yeah,
So, and when was that? 7 years ago, you said?
yeah, it's been 7 years.
So for 7 years, you struggled.
Yeah, and I slowly destroyed my life by not dealing with it.
What'd you turn to? Was it alcohol?
Yeah, for sure, right away. I mean, constant drinking began immediately, and I dabbled with cocaine. You know, I was like, you know, like I told Juan earlier, I was in a rock band. You know, I was in the scene, but it was never like a go-to. You know, it was like, hey, it's around, so why not type of thing. But
What's that?
cocaine,
Cocaine.
but the alcohol was constant.
So you started using more cocaine after.
Oh yeah, for sure. You know, because that was.
Is that what brought you to your knees?
Yeah, you know, series of, you know, bad decisions and, you know, horrible influences. And as I lose friends, I would replace them with, you know, horrible choices, alternative choices, you know, friends that weren't friends, you know. You know.
Looking to fill that void.
Exactly, yep. Anything to do to avoid me from dealing with what I needed to deal with. I ran from grief, and if I know this now the hard way, the grief runs as fast as you run.
Man.
And it never stops. It's not, you know, you can't like lose it. It's not like a car chase, you know. You're not gonna hit a tunnel and, you know, or throw the chopper off its track by switching cars. I mean, it's just.
I've never heard that before. It's a
Yeah.
new one for me.
That is such a good metaphor, dude. That is such a good description.
It's powerful.
Yeah, seriously. Can't outrun grief.
And so that's a perfect segue into my next question. I have goosebumps right now because that's fucking deep. What do you do? How do you move forward? And how do you deal with grief? What's worked for you?
Oh, I'm just starting to deal with it.
Sure.
mean,
And you will probably forever, right?
I've made attempts. You know, this is my third attempt at real working sobriety. You know, really actually working not just on sobriety, but working on myself in general. And it's weird. It's like an evolution to me. You know, first it took me to get sober, to get my brain working properly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But recently it's like all of the things the triggers that used to crush me. Like, I like to call them my last plural, last apostrophe S. I'd be watching, flipping the channels, and oh, that's the last movie I took her to. See, or drive down the road, that's the last place we had dinner.
Damn.
Those kind of things would, send me to the bar, send me down LaGrange Street, and,
Yeah.
and they were sad and horrible. Mm-hmm. But I'm just beginning to have those same occurrences, but they're not sad anymore.
Grateful.
Yeah. It's, like one of the last movies they saw together was Star Wars, episode 7. And we took our niece and nephew. I could think it's just like the thought of it doesn't wreck me now, but it brings up good memories. Like, spoiler alert, it's been long enough, I don't care. But, Han Solo gets killed by his son, and there's my niece Aubrey. Aunt Stephanie, Uncle Matt's crying. They were just kids, but it's, I'm smiling right now. I'm sharing that memory and I'm smiling, instead of that memory used to make me isolate and anger and rage against the universe, I'm slowly getting past the why did this happen to me, and just to the point where this happened to me, but it's not the end of my life anymore.
Wow. That's really, really powerful, man. I don't know you entirely too well. And like I said, I see you and you, I have a newfound respect and just appreciation for your presence and like doing what you're doing every single day. 'Cause that's not easy, dude. Like losing anybody's hard, right? Losing your wife. The thought of it makes me want to like choke up. It really, really does, thinking about that and how to move on from that. And so I think that a lot of people though, I think loss, or they talk about the 3 hardest things to deal with, divorce, moving, and death, right? Like those are the 3 hardest things, at least for people in recovery, to deal with.
Well, that's all you can, those are all 3 in 1 for me. 'Cause I couldn't go back to the house. I had to move, and it wasn't a divorce, but I didn't have the married life anymore. And obviously the loss. I mean,
so for what is your biggest piece of advice? Because I don't even know if you know what you're doing or if it's just time or if you're just trying to stay positive. But I mean, if you had one piece of advice, because dude, lots of people lose people and it takes them to this point where they turn to drugs and alcohol, or 20 years later, they're still using drugs and alcohol because of a loss that they experienced when they were younger, whatever it might be. I mean, that's what started mine, was the loss of my dad at 14. And so, what's been working for you, man? Like whether you even realize you're doing it or if it's just like right now, you're just like, honestly, I don't fucking know. I'm just trying to do my best every single day.
Just get professional help. There's no one can figure this shit out for themselves. It's impossible to figure out what's happening in your brain when you're going through extreme grief and loss. I mean, it's just, it's not a thing. It's our phrase around here. It's not a thing. I thought it was a thing, and I thought, okay, week after the funeral, I'm gonna go back to work. 'Cause, what am I gonna do? Sit around here and be sad? I saw the work. Yep, I'll go right back to work, man. Get back at that desk and start booking that freight from Amazon and making all that money. And I'm good now because I distract myself with that. And there I was, have had 3 days off in a row, and I'm sitting around in my shit. And look, I made $2,000 this week. What are we gonna do with it? I did with it. I went to the bar. So first it was probably a nice dinner first, ended up at the bar, and then there's the man in the corner, and there's some girls, and rotten people, and hey, we're going back here afterwards. Oh yeah, let's do that. I got lots of money, man. We'll have fun, And that became a thing, and that's literally like I was just
every day, every week.
Yeah, I worked 4 days,
whenever you could.
4 12-hour shifts booking freight. I was a freight operations. I was the guy at the desk. taking the loads from Amazon, and my company would find trucks. I was the one that was bringing the loads. Amazon, oh, they posted 4 out of Syracuse. Let's take them all. Okay, how much can we do that for? We can do it for $18,000. Okay, how much are we gonna make? We're gonna make $6,000. Great, do that 1,000 times a night. It's just thankless, joyless work. So it's like when I walked out those doors, I was spent, and I didn't think about my life at all when I was working. But it's like the door would open up when you walk outside, man. You're not looking at the screens, and there's no freight. And then now how am I going to occupy all this stuff and not think about how horrible, what the horrible thing that just happened to me? So right straight to the bar. Sometimes I would, and I had 4 days on, I'd have 4 days off. Yeah, and I made a ridiculous amount of money. So that would usually, it didn't happen immediately like that. But at the end, at the worst of it, I would not even go to sleep until 8 hours before I had to go back to work 4 days later. And that was once I found the really cool chick that had the apartment and, had all the hookups, she had my schedule down, that'd be the night before. She's like, so you coming to Monroe? Monroe was hot, man. That's the place to go.
Said it's the place to go.
Yeah, if you want to ruin your life and
go to Monroe,
sit in a hotel or a apartment building for 4 days and
stay up the whole time.
Watch a girl dye her hair twice.
Jeez, but dude, you're bringing back wild memories, absolutely wild memories.
But no, I mean that my only advice would be: do not try to figure it out on yourselves. Do not try to self-medicate. And there's lots of people out there that can have a good cry and drink a 12-pack of beer and go on with their life. But I became not that guy very fast. And had I gotten help, maybe I'd still be a normal person that could have a beer on the weekend while I'm cutting grass. But I didn't.
You've crossed that line.
I snowballed in. Snowball rolls downhill, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. And I let the snowball roll downhill for so long that now it can't be stopped. Yeah. Now I have to keep ahead of the snowball, or else the snowball's going to roll me over. Yeah. That snowball's going to follow me the rest of my life now. Yeah. I have to be vigilant and hyper aware of, it's only going to take one drink.
Yeah.
And I don't have the tools anymore. My brain doesn't work the way that it needs to work to use any kind of intoxicants ever again.
And you fully understand that.
I fully understand that now.
So it's interesting. It's interesting to think about, and I just see your wheels turning, and I want to hear what you have to say. But it's just wild how, people, anything can happen to anybody, man. Like, we don't know. We don't know. Like, I constantly hear this shit online about like willpower and bad people. This is a bad people thing. You're a dumbass, or your parents raised you wrong, or whatever it might be. Right. And it's like, dude, you take 5 minutes to talk to somebody. Like, this is a perfectly normal person who had a normal life, and life smacked him in the face, and he had no control over it. Absolutely no control over it. And like, nobody knows whether that's going to happen to them or not. Today, tomorrow, you just don't know. And until it happens to you, you can't tell me how you would deal with it either. Right. Like, don't tell me that if you lost your wife, that you wouldn't go to Monroe and party with a girl and, spend all your money on alcohol. Like, you don't know that. You don't know what it feels like.
Right.
So, I mean, just so many people, for so many reasons, again, they cross that line. They cross that invisible line, and it just changes who they are and what they can do and what they can't do for the rest of their lives. I'm glad that you found help, and that you're working on yourself, and that you're continuing to make yourself better every single day.
Every day here is like I come to a new realization.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's spontaneous. One time you stopped me in the hallway for the 3 questions. And one of the questions was, you're an addict if. And I wasn't ready for that. And I was like, you're an addict if you know that your drinking and using is going to hurt everyone you love, but you do it anyway.
Yeah, man.
Was, that's what I came up with. And it's like, and then when you walked away, I had to sit there and think about that for a while. It's like, that is exactly what I do. I've been doing up until a week ago. And then I'd have my little spouts of sobriety, and it's not going to happen ever again. And I swear it's going to be different this time. And then it would turn into, it's it's a depression thing. I'm seeing a shrink now. So I mean, it's not really the drugs or the alcohol. So Dad, I'm gonna have beers this weekend.
Yeah.
You know,
Right.
I've walked that stupid tightrope so many times. You know, if I just have beers after work and don't go to the bars, and you know, at the end of my journey, Matt's awesome journey, I didn't even go anywhere.
Yeah, you were stuck at home.
I
Stuck
was
in the room or whatever.
in
it
the
was.
garage,
In the garage.
dead of winter over a space heater with a little Bluetooth speaker.
That's where it leads us.
Matt, what are you doing outside? Oh, I'm watching a movie on my phone. Yeah.
Makes no
Sure,
sense.
yeah.
We do this to find connection and to find relief, and we end up alone and miserable.
Man.
That's addiction in a nutshell.
You know, and you got a drug man that makes deliveries. I mean, he's not gonna turn you away when
Why move? Why do anything different?
If I cut out everybody else and I'll just do a little bit, and then 4 deliveries later,
Yeah.
it was. I still don't have any of my friends back that I lost. So, I know they'll a lot of them will welcome me, but it's like,
Dude, it takes time.
I don't even think I'm, want to go down that road until I can say, hey, I've been clean for years. So here's the things I remember that I did. Maybe you remember some things I didn't do. Because I have gone to some places and I've heard stories of things that I don't remember. That's.
Yeah, sometimes you still don't even know. the wreckage hasn't even fully identified itself yet. You'll continue to hear stuff, but I know Juan. I know you got something over there. While Juan is talking, I want you to think about this too, Matt. I don't know if Juan told you, but we give an opportunity at the end to ask us a couple questions. So if you haven't already thought about that, I want you to think about that. But
cool, yeah, I've got some.
But go ahead, Juan. I know you got some shit brewing over there,
Dude, my head's just spinning. First and foremost, like hearing what you said, right? Like we were talking. My head always clicks with the program that I work, and that has been like just digested by me over years. And step one is in our literature, it says to concede to our innermost selves that we are addict or alcoholic, right? The concession on a daily basis, right? That's the one day at a time part, right? And I'm hearing you say that, you know what I mean? You're saying that, and you're like, I don't know when or if I can go back to old people, right? Friendships or things that result that I would like to amend. And that one day at a time, as life on life's terms is happening, like faith gets born in those spaces, right? Like my faith was born as I chose into conceding to my innermost self, that I am this, and treating that one day at a time while life was showing up at the same time. And as a result of that, I didn't have to run from anything or anyone. I didn't have to avoid places, because I seen, hey, I got through a loss in a healthy way. Hey, I got through a difficulty. I got through this hardship. I treated life's obstacle with grace this time. And you just start stacking those up, you know what I mean? And I no longer have to worry about the triggers, right? I'm no longer triggered. I'm just in a position of neutrality, as we call it. We cease fighting anything and anyone. And that's a beautiful thing, but the reservation point that we discussed this weekend too, that's what it made me think about is a lot of people, right? Grief, I think, will really cause people to question their ability to commit to their lives, right? Or when grief or loss happens, it's very difficult for people to continue to operate the way that is suggestive towards them being healthy and moving forward. And so like the reservation process, it's this process that, and I've been really sticking on this a lot lately and discussing it. The term reservation can refer to a person's underlying hesitation, doubt, or reluctance to fully commit to something, right? And so the question for me when I first got sober a lot of times was, what could cause me to have a reservation? If I lost my son, I used to be like, man, if I ever lost my son, I don't know how I'm going to handle that. I don't know how I'm going to respond. If I lost my mom or my dad early on, like, oh man, dude, if I lost them, dude, I don't know what I'm going to do or how I'm going to take care of myself when I first got sober. If I lose certain people, those are the primary things, right? Grief and loss of people I love. And so that was an honest reflection, a moment for me to be honest with myself. If this thing happens, a worst case scenario happens, am I prepared to stay sober? Not just do I want to stay sober, but am I prepared to stay sober? And if I'm not prepared, what do I got to do to prepare? And I love what you said, which is seek professional help, right? I don't know how to fix me when I'm broken. you know, and just to hear the insight that you're expressing, man, like that level of surrender and humility, like, bro, like you're in this position, in this posture that's, I know it's telling me and Matt, like, yeah, take notes. Like, you know what I mean? You know, I'm taking notes based on the humility you're exercising right now, man. And that's amazing because, we all need to see that, right? You have a very healthy attitude. And in my experience, at the end of my grief, when I'm allowed to feel alive again, it's when I'm grateful for the last that you talk about. That's where I get to like experience like the absence of somebody with the thankfulness that I even had the opportunity to love somebody like that, you know, like I just admire what you're saying right now, man. I admire it, dude. And what are your reservations? Do you have reservations today? You know, looking at that, what I said?
Like reservations as in things that I'm hesitant to get into at this point in my journey.
Well, you expressed one already, right? Which was certain friendships, but
approaching old friends and, you know, well, the EDMR therapy is EMDR. I'm sorry, EMDR therapy. You know, they've been approached about that, and that is gonna rip some old wounds open really bad for me. Honestly, I'll sit sometimes and just that night, you know, it's like I know that I've blocked out a lot of that night. I mean, I remember specifics. I remember specific parts. You know, the phone call and you know, driving there. And there was like a 10-hour period, 10 hours of like 10 hours of things that was, you know, it wasn't like Matt, here's your decision. Or when I got in the door, it was, you know, getting family there and calling her parents and my parents, and it was 10 hours later when we finally got, you know, the news from the doctor that there was body temperature isn't rising and there's zero brain activity. Man, you know.
Yeah. My experience,
and that's my big nightmare is that, you know, when it came to what are we going to do? The doctors, they didn't ask her parents. They didn't ask my parents. They didn't ask her sister. It was me. And I signed those papers.
Right.
You know, I told everybody it's time to come in and say goodbye.
Oh, man. We're in the weight of that responsibility.
Yeah.
That task, you know, to be able to be that person.
So then that's just what I, you know, my mental outline of that evening is. But this memory regression therapy is gonna be.
You're right, dude.
It's
I'm
important.
fucking terrified.
It's
fucking terrified.
You know what though? This is right now, like literally in this moment where we're at in this podcast. I don't know if anybody's explained to you EMDR and how it works.
Slightly, yeah. I had a couple groups about it.
For me to hear from other people and stuff like that, it's just like the jailhouse attorney, right? Like you're sitting in jail or prison, like wondering what you should do with your case, and all your cellmates are telling you all this shit, and it's like, okay, I can take that with a grain of salt, but like really finding out what it is, so you have real information to formulate a plan around that, I think is incredibly important. It was explained to me just in a very, very simple way to outline it is when things happen to us, it doesn't matter what it is. If it's traumatic to you, right? Like this could be watching a car accident at the age of 6, even if you weren't in the car. That could scare the shit out of a 6-year-old. Or what you went through, right? Like those types of things, the way that our brains processes them. Normally, if you can picture a big room with filing cabinets, right? Like there's filing cabinets and all of our memories go into these filing cabinets. And some things that we just can't wrap our minds around, like that, or like a car accident for a 6-year-old, they stay out on this table. They just remain there. They don't get put away. And so when other things happen in our lives, anything can remind us of that because it hasn't been put away. It's still there, open and out on this table. And the way to put it away and file it away permanently so that, I mean, there's no way to ever stop thinking about these things. They will always come back up. But the difference is you will learn how to deal with them as life continues to present itself. And I saw something the other day about, you know, this guy was doing a presentation and he asked this lady, he's like, who's really shy in here? And this girl raised her hand. He's like, I want you to scream at the top of your lungs as loud as you possibly can. And she was like, no, I'm not going to fucking scream. That's weird. And he's like, but why? She's like, it's weird. But why is it weird? I'm asking you to do it. Why is it weird? She's like, I don't know, because people would look at me like he's like, so fear of judgment of other people, right? Like you're afraid that if you do this, other people will look at you differently. And then he's like, okay, perfect. So you're afraid. You're afraid to do something that's different. Now let's all just scream on the count of 3, rather than you doing it alone. Let's just all scream on 3, 1, 2, 3. And everybody screamed. And he was like, that was so much easier, right? Because everybody did it together. And the way that he kind of wrapped that up and summarized it is that fear or that anxiety or whatever it is, a lot of times, dude, if not handled the right way, it will come back. It will come back in the wrong way.
Yeah.
And it will bluff you. And you have to face that bluff. You have to call that bluff. And the best way to do that is by acting. And so like things will come back, lasts, movies, places, whatever it is. And if not dealt with, that's like playing with fire. You know what I mean? It's just playing with fire to not properly deal with that because we're afraid with it, because we don't want to rip that scab off, dude. I just really implore you to do it. Yeah. Because
it's gonna happen. It's definitely gonna happen. Tim's got me convinced, and you just gotta.
You should do it, man. I really, really want you to do that. I hope that you do it. It'd be the best thing for you, because I have seen the alternative of people not working on those things, and I mean, I was the alternative of not working on those things. That's why I did what I did, and then finally being able to face those. I know you went through EMDR too.
7.5 months straight of EMDR, then hypno, then trance therapy afterwards.
The fear, figuring out an action that you can take, right? Like whatever, when it presents itself, figuring out an action, whether that's running on the treadmill or whatever it might be, whatever works for you. I don't know. You have to figure that out. And then repeating that for the rest of your life. And that's something that you're going to have to figure out how to do. And that all of us have to figure out how to do.
But we're willing to scream with you.
I'll fucking scream goddamn right now, bro.
Right. You know what I mean?
I'll scream right now.
And that's a huge difference in trauma, experience in trauma, right? Is I can have the same experience, and if on one hand I experience it or feel like I'm alone, and then on one hand I feel supported and I am supported, that's totally different thing, you know. And that's something for me is that I went through life and I maybe wasn't supported, but many times I wouldn't allow myself to be supported. I wouldn't allow help into my life necessarily for whatever reason. But what's a wild thing is to go through life and then to experience life in very difficult ways and to have support there and to be like, holy crap, that is totally different than this other thing, you know. And let's scream, dog, you know what I mean? As you're going through it, man, I hear that, and that was such, dude, I'll never forget a lot of what we just said today, some of the different analogies you guys said that, but man,
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, dude.
Thanks guys. I'm grateful for this opportunity, not to be here on the cool show, but to be here. I've tried this before with other places with live-in housing, but that was years ago. And my situation now is I can't live here. I need to be at home. My parents are elderly. There's daily tasks that I have to do. And I also have to be there for any emergency. And when I was in the hospital last time, you know, I was talking with a gentleman about getting into treatment, and I can't do it. I can't go into treatment. I need to be there. It's like, what if you could do it and not live there? It's like, is that a thing? You know, and then he's like, well, there's this place called Team Recovery, you know, and instead of even thinking about it, I pulled the trigger right away. You know, took a cab from the hospital for my alcohol detox. I took the cab from my hospital to here.
What hospital was that at?
A Flower Hospital.
Someone at Flower told you about Team Recovery?
Yeah, it was Matt.
Oh yeah, Matt.
Matt. You know,
Another Matt. Wouldn't you know?
You know, and it's funny thing, how the whole world works is that he actually did my intake at the last place that I did do.
I know what you're talking about there too.
Yep. So
that's funny. Matt's a good dude.
Wow.
Another crazy thing, I was in that lockdown unit that you're talking about multiple times.
Yeah.
I actually watched somebody die in there. on the 4th of July.
I didn't see that, but I spent my birthday there this year. It was nice that the kitchen caught it, and I got a cupcake added to my tray. Just a cupcake, no candle,
Nice.
no candle with fire. Of course, it was a psych ward lockdown, but
Assholes.
At least they gave you a cupcake.
yeah, if I think I wore a path in the tile walking that hallway. You know, there was no treadmills, there was no dumbbells. I mean.
Some good people.
They wouldn't let me do push-ups because people got freaked out by it.
Place is so weird. Hey, we don't have to go back there.
No. I want to go back there and
that
donate books, so I do.
We used to go speak there.
Yeah, we
Remember
did.
that?
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yeah, it was cool.
Love that.
Yeah, it was fun.
That is something.
Like Friday nights or some shit.
Yep, Friday nights.
That's what we were doing on Friday nights, dude. Friday nights, 8 o'clock, going and carrying a message of hope.
Yeah, we'd roll in there with
psych ward.
14 people, dog.
Literally.
If that becomes a thing, I'm in.
Okay.
Because if I can help somebody at that state make the decision to do this, then I would definitely.
It's amazing, dude. Yeah. It's a great way to get outside of yourself.
I have, you know, if we're ready for questions.
Yeah. What do you got? Fire away.
Well, I don't know if you guys have heard this or not, but I've kind of had like an awakening, and I see the way that you people work with each other.
What do you mean, you people?
You team recovery people. You team recovery people. No, no, it's the camaraderie, the family, you know, the love, and, you know, and what you do is so, you know, important to me because it's working. I've never been in an environment where people at work truly loved each other. And I think I want some of that, guys. I think I want some of that. I am working with Andrew on, you know, the way I should go about getting my CDCA right away. Not right away, but you know, he's not just by getting online and reading and taking the answers, but he's got a synopsis of activities I can do to better my chances even before I begin. And I'm kind of like, I'm feeling the calling. You know, I don't need, you know, I used to be all about money. What job makes me the money? What job makes me the money? Because I was a provider, you know, but I'm blessed right now to where, you know, money's not going to change my life. It might ruin it. Money might ruin my life.
Yeah.
Right at this point.
That's a good point.
And money's not going to make my life better, but doing things that make me happy, that's going to make my life better. And it's going to save my life. You know, I mean, I can't go back to what I used to do. I can't I can't see that. I can't go back. You know, I can't sit at a desk and make millions of dollars for somebody else so that I can take a couple thousand home a week. I mean, what's that? What's for what? I don't have kids. I don't have a wife. You know, I don't have to buy a house. I'm going to inherit a house. I'm living in a house right now. It's going to be mine. I have transportation. I have shelter. You know, I pay utilities.
Got everything you need.
Yeah,
So what is your question?
Is there
Yes.
Is there something that you see in the future of a more like bare bones position?
Like there is right now.
Yeah.
So yes, I would say yes.
Without going right into running groups, I mean, I'm years away from something like that, but I'd like to be like a peer,
yeah.
Like a, you know, some of these guys some of these young men.
I'm having a moment.
Don't even understand what it's like to be
we're going to look back. We're going to do a podcast in a year and you're going to be, so yes, I know what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying with all the responsibilities and all that kind of stuff. You want to ease your way into it. I'll answer it in two different ways. I always do think that it's good for people in recovery, especially early recovery, to work, if they can, work at the right treatment center, because that camaraderie that you're talking about. So I want to say this too. Your job is completely different than a program of recovery, right? Like just because we come and help people during the day from 9 to 5 doesn't mean that we don't have to still see our sponsor and sponsor people and go to meetings, because those are two completely separate things. They're complete service work, and doing your job are two completely separate things. And so I always caution people because it become overwhelming, dude. You know what it is. This shit is hard. This is a very hard industry to work in. Watching somebody get their life back, get their kids back, all that shit, and then go lose it. Like that weighs on you, dude. That will eat you up if you're not working on yourself. So I always say, just beware of going to the right place, not throwing yourself in too fast. having other people that actually are like looking out for you and caring for you is a huge piece that I would recommend anybody early in recovery that's going to work in the field. Make sure that you've got your friends around there that know about you, that can see you when you're starting to get off and shit like that, so that they can call you out on that or say, hey, what's going on? You need some time off, use some PTO, whatever it might be. So it's like a scary thing, but it can also be a very, very good thing if you know those things ahead of time and go into it the right way.
I would love to be the guy that just does what no one else has time for and what nobody wants to do.
Who better to work in treatment than somebody that's went through treatment?
And then just observe, maybe,
you know what I mean?
Maybe move my way up slowly, but just, like driving the vans.
Your face could be on the
getting
podcast.
the lunches, moving people from apartments to apartments. I mean,
those things are available right now. Literally, those things are available right now. I want you to focus on you, though.
Yeah, for sure.
I would never want to, and whether it's with us or another treatment center, I don't care. That if you land in treatment, I think that's amazing. That's an amazing thing.
Yeah, I'm not rushing it, Matt. I mean, I don't see any. I don't even have a idea of what completing my treatment looks like yet.
Yeah.
So that's first.
You do what's good for you.
That's first.
And when listen, I'm telling you this right now. You continue to do the next right thing, putting one foot in front of the other, and the doors will just open. They'll open exactly what you want to open will open. And maybe not in your time, but they will open. If you keep knocking on those doors, they will open. And so if that's a driving position somewhere, or working in the food services or peer services, doing rounds at housing, there's so many things available that are out there where our experience is our greatest asset. And it's not just, what you've been through is a huge asset to a lot of other people out there that are, bad things are happening to them today and they're going to need treatment tomorrow. So you're able to help them.
Yeah, man, your experience qualified you far before your licensure will to help people. You get to work in the industry as a result of like getting the credentials or the license, but your experience is your qualifier, dude. And I literally was trying not to cry just a minute ago hearing you, because all the things, the motive and the intention and the posture that you're leaning into, which is, dude, I just want to help people, right? I just want to help people. I just want to like do what I can. And just that attitude towards life in general, you're already receiving the glory of all that, bro. And the question, like Matt said, like years ago, we used to say something, and we used to always say free to paid. Like, it was 6 years for free for me. It was years of us doing this for free, just because we believe in helping people. I believe in loving people. And because like you said, the money thing is whatever. This is what I do. I do this no matter what, dude. No matter what, this is what I do. I walk out of these doors and I do this. But taking care of my heart also, it's in direct conflict. My job and is it in recovery are two totally different things, and people get that confused quite frequently. I can take my experience and I can remember everything, and I can say I know what I need to do or what other people need to do to be well, but actually doing it ourselves is something totally different. We will see people in the industry, in the field all the time, and we drive each other hard. When you're talking about the love you see, and maybe the love you don't see is behind the scenes, where we're telling each other, tighten up, dude. Go to that meeting on Thursday down the street. Tighten up, do this. Like, that's where we live and how we live. Because just working in treatment for us, that's not enough. It's not enough for me to be best friends with Matt and him not be taking care of himself. It's not enough. It's not enough for Matt to look at me and be like, man, he's still acting like a shithead. No, dude, like, I'm here because I trust that my boy is going to be fucking taking care of himself, and that he's going to work on himself, that I can tell him certain things and we can hold each other accountable. But, dude, absolutely, man. I mean, is it possible? Absolutely, dude. Absolutely. It's more than possible. It's probable if you keep doing what you're doing. Very probable.
Absolutely. Hey, good job.
Yeah,
Thanks.
bro.
Proud of you.
That.
Every day. I'm proud of you. I love seeing you in the hallways. It's a refreshing face. It's a wonderful name. You're doing good work, man. So just keep doing it.
Yeah, it's I'm in uncharted waters. I'm just trying to swim in the right direction, and it's I don't like being left to my own devices. That's why I don't know if it's hurtful for us, but I'm taking more groups than actually you guys are probably billing for, just because of what else am I gonna do? Mm-hmm. What am I gonna do from 3 to 5?
Yeah,
or 2 to 3. I mean,
I can think of some things for you to do.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. There's some meetings out there.
Yeah, you're right. But I'm hitting. Yeah, I need to hit more outside meetings.
He's a Jeep guy too.
I know. I see too. Yeah, we all Jeeping. We all.
Mine's a real Jeep.
Yeah, this is the Jeep
2003.
Yeah, you got the real one.
Yeah, you do.
You're doing the damn thing. Listen, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for coming on. We'll have you on again.
Yeah, it was great.
If you'd like to be a guest again.
I made it. Didn't pee myself. I was pretty nervous.
It's not over yet.
Yeah.
I appreciate you, and thank you, Juan, as always, for being here. I love you.
Thank both you guys. It's I'm glad to get some FaceTime with you. I know how busy you are. You're bombarded. Everybody wants there, but hey, there's Matt. I want to go talk to him.
I wish I could.
I wish I'd see this guy at fire a little more often. I miss you at the fire.
I know. I'm doing my best to be a father. I get it.
I get it. Oh yeah, that's just starting, isn't it? Or is it almost over for kids?
No,
high school.
They're running right now, man.
Yep. See, that's just me as the non-parent. Like, I had to explain why I didn't know half of these, Pixar movies that we're talking about in our group last time.
But
You've never seen this. I don't have kids.
I'm thankful you're stoking the fire, though, bro. Keep stoking the fire, dog.
Keep stoking that fire. That's what it's all about, man. Service.
Yeah.
I appreciate everybody watching, man. What a fantastic episode. Deep, powerful stuff. If you guys found value in it, which I know that you did, please make sure that you share this with somebody. There's people out there that have gone through very similar things, or that might go through similar things, or that know somebody that's gone through a similar thing. And so it's important that we get that information out there and share it with somebody else who needs to hear it. And so if you haven't already, please make sure that you follow us or like us on whatever platform you're watching us on. We do have our hotline number, 419-561-LIFE, that is available for anybody that needs to hear it. Hear us, talk to us, ask questions. It's there 24/7. Whether you need treatment resources or if you just need somebody to talk to, that's what that hotline is for. And so make sure that you call if you need anything. So I just want to thank you guys again for watching. I want to thank our guest, Matt, and our co-host, Juan.
Yeah.
And everybody behind the scenes too. You have a new guy.
Yeah.
You got a new guy in the office here. Can
we pull his face in?
He's behind the camera. We'll edit it. Yeah. Come on in here, Shane. Damn it. This is the first time.
Come on,
you know
bro.
what, Josh? You've never been on the damn camera either.
Come here, Josh. Sit down.
Which camera? Come on, sit right here.
Just come here for 1 second, guys. Just let us introduce the boys.
Shane, you know what? Here. You guys. Oh, yeah, you can sit right there.
Yeah.
Shane, how are you?
Oh, I'm great.
Shane's here from Deschler, Ohio. He's not Edgerton, Ohio. He's not driving from Edgerton, but he's here with us now. It's a real thing. We got a second video person, a second marketing mastermind in the house, and we're excited to have you.
Thank you so much. I'm excited to be here.
And you guys know Josh. Are you on the camera? Did you do both cameras? You're doing the wide lens. Josh, you've never come out on the camera.
I think I've showed up once or twice.
Well, here you are.
You gave me like a sweatshirt for my birthday last year before you brought me on.
I don't remember that.
Yeah, it was when we were in here.
Yep, I remember. Guys, this is our dude. This is our boy. This is who's setting it off for us on all the things. Shane and Josh are just putting us together constantly, man. Dude, love you, bro. Thank you.
Bro.
Josh has got a motorcycle. We think it's a terrible idea. Don't get a motorcycle if you're watching this. Love life, drive 25, keep kids alive. Thank you for watching. We love you.
Peace.
I'm looking at the wrong camera. I'm literally pointing at the wrong camera.